Let's move on, though, to this other story here, which has been fascinating to me, that the efforts to keep Donald Trump off the primary and general election ballots are ramping up, with some states looking at a little-known provision of the Constitution to basically use part of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to keep him off the ballot, even though he's been not convicted of any crimes. Walk us through the legal chicanery that's going on here, and can this work?
Yeah. Well, ultimately, let's cut to the chase. It will fail. You know, their idea is that Article 14, Section 3 of the Bill of Rights, you know, the Constitution says that if you participated in an insurrection or rebellion against the United States of America, then you are prohibited from holding certain offices. It excludes, first of all, President of the United States. That's an interesting footnote in history, and they're trying to, again, shoehorn into another provision or another statement in there that this somehow applies to President. But even all of that being said, when this was passed after the Civil War in the 1860s, certainly everyone that passed it and all the states that ratified this 14th Amendment to the Constitution know that what it meant to participate in a rebellion. They knew they had just experienced the Civil War. In this case, you know, to your point, not only has Donald Trump never been convicted of anything, he certainly has never been charged with anything. This is just an aggressive way for the left to try to keep Donald Trump off the ballot. It's, like I said, it's going to fail, but you know, they are afraid of him. They are afraid of how effective he will be in a second term, how effective he will be in fighting back against, you know, the deep state and the bureaucratic quagmire that is Washington, D.C. And so, you know, we'll have to see if any court takes it seriously. This argument was made against a couple House reps following January 6th, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Madison Cawthorn, and both of those efforts failed. Madison lost his primary to another challenger, but both of those theories under the 14th Amendment were rejected by courts.
Well, but Matthew, this gets to a broader thing which I've been seeing out of the left a lot. You know, we've seen it since COVID, where they decide, oh, well, there's a state of emergency. We can suspend the law. We think that Donald Trump being president, well, that's an emergency to us, so we can try these very legal theories on. And now we've also seen the same thing in New Mexico, where the governor has decided that, oh, well, there's an emergency around gun crime, so we're going to suspend people's right to own guns under the law. I'm very curious about where this all leads, though, with America, if you've got a Democrat Party, a progressive left, that believes they can just simply rewrite the law, rewrite the Constitution to meet whatever they think the emergency of the day is, and what that does to the rights of ordinary American citizens.
Yeah, this is the most dangerous idea that really came out of the COVID experience, and that is there were several states that were successful in using emergency powers that essentially these executives created, weren't passed by any elected body, a House or a Senate in a state or federally. And they use these emergency powers to suspend certain fundamental rights, especially the right to worship, and that's protected under the First Amendment. So as I look at this, this is just a tyrannical left that doesn't think the Constitution should be something to be honored and revered, but is something to be ignored in the interests of their power to control and dominate society. But, you know, the patriots and freedom-loving Americans all over this great country are going to push back against this. And thankfully, you know, we continue to have a Supreme Court that seems to be right-minded in this regard and will protect our individual liberties against a tyrannical state.
Matthew Whitaker, going to have to leave it there. Keep up the good fight, and thank you so much.